What's going on, y'all? It's Mob, and it's your boy J-Rock. Just to give you a little bit of history that comes from me. I was born and raised in Oceanside, California. That's in North County of San Diego, right? Um, at Oceanside, there's not really too much you can do except for either play sports or gangbang. At a young age, I chose to gangbang. Um, from that time of gangbanging, it was put myself on the map, put my hood on the map, and put Oceanside on the map. And to do whatever it takes to do that, I involved myself in a lot of things that I'm not going to mention, but you guys can get the picture of what took place in that city. At the age of 11, 12, I continued to ride to put a name for myself and for my city, and did things and such that caused grave danger to myself and also to my family. I didn't come from a bad background of parenting. Like my dad was in the military, then he was in civil service, and then he was like somewhat of a spy, so to speak. My dad passed away, and I'll get to that in a minute. And my parents stayed together for a while. Through all that, gangbanging and put myself, in position to do so, I was shot 3 times. I was at my homie's house, and we're bagging up some dope. And what led up to that was, everything happens over a girl sometimes. So my homie's girl got took by another dude, and we were at a set trip with these guys from out of town. So they found him, beat him with an axe handle, split his head open. In return, they went to my homie's house and beat up his dad and slapped his mom. In retaliation, you get the picture. So from that point, they went to my homie's house where we were bagging up the dope. And I seen him the day before. Usually I don't walk out the house without my pistol. That time I walked out the house without my pistol. As soon as I walked out, as soon as I was coming around the apartment complex, I seen him looking inside the window. And I was like, "What's up, homie?" And he was like, "Oh, what's up? Oh, you rock, huh?" And in my mind, I'm like, dang. Because I knew I didn't have my thing on me. And I was like, "Yeah, what's good?" He's like, "Where's the homie Shakes at?" So I don't know, he ain't here. And then he pulled out his pistol. I remember clearly it was a 45. And he was like, "Man, I should smoke you right now, homie." And I was like, "Yeah." And the whole time I hear my homie in the apartment, like he's ruffling through stuff. Like you can hear stuff like flipping up and down. At the time I didn't know what he was doing, but he was looking for the heaters. For some reason he said, I should smoke you, but didn't pull the trigger. I guess because it's probably daylight. And he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna see each other." And I was like, "All right, cool." So the whole time he's walking through his car, I'm stepping back because I'm trying to go get my heater. By that time, he went in the car and took off. I got into the apartment. The whole apartment is jacked up. He's like, "Where's the heaters?" I'm like, "They're in the room." By that time, we got him and ran out. He was already gone. That next night, we're bagging up some dope. And then next thing you know, we just started hearing a flurry of gunshots. I got hit in the side, flew into the kitchen. I hit the refrigerator. And as I'm sliding down, I get hit in my stomach. And somehow I got hit in my leg with a 9, but I got hit with a 4 or 5 both times in my side, my stomach. And I'm sliding into the kitchen, and then my homie comes around. And the next thing you know, he breaks, says, "I'll be right back." I'm like, "Dude, where are you going?" He kicks out the back window, and I just hear gunfire out in the street. And then he comes back in, and he was like, "Man, I think I got one of them, but I'm not sure." A lady who just got out working out of the hospital, she come in and she was like, "Man, call 911. They called 911. Ambulance come, and they're like, if we drive him to the hospital, he's not gonna make it. We gotta flight him." So they light flighted me to La Jolla. I stayed there 3 months. I went in at like 215. I walked out at 175. I lost about 50 pounds. My lung collapsed, and I just had complications from the gunshot wounds. But even then, through all that, you would think that would be like a wake-up call to stop what you're doing, but all that did was just elevate me to think that I was untouchable, and I kept doing what I was doing, which led to time and things of that nature, which also led to devastation with dad passing away, you know, I'm out fishing one night, and I had the best fishing, you know, of my life. I'm reeling out fish after fish after fish. I got 3 buckets of fish. I had to give some buckets away. I'm happy. I'm going to my mom's, you know, she's half Filipino. She's Filipino, so I'm half Filipino and black. You know, they love fish. So I'm taking her fish, and my phone's blowing up, but I'm not tripping. I'm bumping music. I'm happy. I come around the corner. My mom's outside jumping up and down. And I'm thinking like maybe somebody came to the house or something. I was like, dang, I'm thinking, dang, I put my mom and my parents in danger. But when I get there, she just kept on saying, your dad, your dad, your dad. So I put my truck and parked, turned it off, walked in. And as I walked in, my dad collapsed in my arms. And, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him, and next thing you know, you can just feel his life leave out of his body, and then white foam started coming from his mouth. For years, I blamed myself, because I was like, well, if I knew what I knew then, what I know now, then I probably could have prayed for him, you know, pray for resurrection somehow, some way, give my dad another chance. And this was in 2001, but it didn't happen. So we let my dad go. This might sound crazy, but we cremated him, and they said, hey, do you want to witness us pushing your dad into the fire? And like nobody wanted to do it. And at that time, there's a lot of stuff going around about, you know, cemeteries doing stuff with bodies and stuff. So I was like, nah, I'm gonna go in there. So when I go in there, they asked, do you want to stay or do you want to push your dad in? And I said, no, I want to push him in. So they turned the fire on in the furnace, and then I pushed my dad and watched my dad go up in flames. Which again fueled my fire, right? Which led to, you know, years past. This was in 2001. A couple years later, I made, you know, my now wife. But back then, you know, I was involved in a lot of business opportunities, and one of these were, you know, pimping and hoeing. I avoided this chick when I first met her. I didn't want to let her know the type of work that I did, but she had left me no choice. You know, she used to dress in khakis and chucks and tank tops, and it wasn't my attraction. You know, I didn't see the dollar sign at the time, but when I got to kicking it with her, I was like, hey, I'm going to Vegas. She was like, I want to come. I said, I don't think you should come. Long story short, I was like, if you come, you know, come on. So she came. When we get there, I said, hey, this is probably going to be our last time kicking it, because I don't think you want to get involved with what I'm involved in. And she was like, what's that? I'm like, well, I'm a parent, you know, the interview. I usually don't even take it this far, but if you want to be with me from this point forward, you know, you got to start breaking yourself. And she agreed. But then, you know, 9 months, I got the question asked earlier to me, like, how much did you make in that time span? I was like, well, just to give you a little bit of what took place within the first 9 months, I made $500,000 just off of her. So you can imagine what took place past that. Life was good, you know, not to glorify it, but at the time, life was good. Bought me a $3.2 million home, and it was 10,000 square feet. It was getting to the point where, you know, I can feel the transition coming, because we both knew that something wasn't right. Our homie, KD, call him King David, Pooh Man, he used to send us daily bread, messages, you know, scriptures and stuff. And I should sit and look at that, and it was convicting me, and I know it was. So we'd go to church thinking that was our good thing to do. We'd go to church, but at the same time, we'd be sniffing coke in the actual pews in the church, because I leave Vegas, I go to San Diego, I cross over to Tijuana, I put stuff, and we put it in our drawers and bring it back, and I bring it back to Vegas and chop it down and get rid of it, right? So we'd be in there with the pure, and we'd just be getting high. We drop a couple hundred in the collection plate and think that we're doing our good deed. That wasn't it. My wife got tired of what was going on and said, I'm tired of it. I come home one day at 6 o'clock in the morning, she gone. Leaves me a note, says, hey, I'm gone. I can't take this no more. So she goes back to California. I'm like, oh, that's fine, because I got other chicks that were doing our thing. 3 months after that, I get pulled over with my other bottom. And they take me to jail because I was high, take my truck and pound it. At that point, I was like, something has to change. I didn't know what that change was going to be until I got released after that 8-hour detox. When I got released out of the 8-hour detox, I'm walking to my homie's house and I hear somebody talking to me, but I didn't know what it was. So I'm thinking I'm tripping. So I'm looking around, I'm like, who is that? And it was nobody. But then I can just feel it. And I can feel and hear, give her a call, let her know you're about to give your life to Christ, and go home to her. She's waiting on you. I'm thinking I'm going crazy. I said, well, what I got to lose? I can get on the phone, I call her, and I said, hey, what's up? She's like, what's up? I said, I don't know if you're going to believe me, but I think Jesus is talking to me, and he wants me to let you know that I'm giving my life to him after I got the phone with you, and he said that I'm coming home. And she's like, for real? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, okay. So I hung up the phone, put my hands up, confessed Christ, bleed in my heart that he was my Lord and Savior, that he died for me, and I just couldn't take it no more. Not knowing the whole time she was gone, she was going to church, she had changed her life, she's praying that I would change my life, and it happened. So after I confessed Christ, I called her back, I said, it's done, and she was like, what's now? I said, I don't know, I think I have to pack up the Rover and then head to you. She was like, well, you know, I'm gonna send you some money right now, get it at you know, the little Western Union, and then come on. So she sent me some money. I packed up everything I had of the houses that we had and left everything there. Went to California. She had got a job as a secretary. I got my job like 6 days later after I got to California as a tech manager. This woman started as a secretary who was my bottom in the game and made it to VP of sales from that same company. Within that time frame of me being released, from there, I confessed Christ, had the job, quit the job, met up with, you know, Dante and Sevin and Hog Mob, and I can say from that point, how God had glorified, just the thought process. You know, people say that, you know, how we glorify God and things, but I think that in what he did in us, he allowed us to not be able to go through things that we couldn't handle, but he showed us what that side was. So when he pulled us out of it and then got hooked up with our brothers in the ministry to equip us to go back and do the same thing. And we've been riding ever since, not turning back, not wavering. You know, got involved with a couple of different businesses, and you know, some people think that, because I'm a Elite super fan as well, some people think that that is a form of, I don't know, giving superior acts to that actual character. But what I felt in the spirit was, if I can get into a place where I can identify with this certain group, because this is the type of business that we're in, that I can go and minister to football players, I can go and minister to athletes, I can go and minister to these people who are actors and actresses, that this is just another way of me to be able to get it and do that, and also be able to touch kids, because I love to minister to kids as well. And I even had my first opportunity to go and minister at a junior high school, and I'm going back on the 26th of this month to do so. So it's opened up those opportunities that's been prayed for, and I can't thank God enough for pulling us out and doing what we're doing. Once again, this is J-Rock. That's a portion of my testimony. Would love to tell you more, but we'll do that another time. Malvin.